How can a beautiful young talented girl be attracted or loved by a mad man? Is that not ridiculous? Tighten your seat belt as I share with you a tale of Amara. Amara was known throughout the village of Ezib for her breathtaking beauty and talent as a seamstress. Her sewing skills were unmatched, and she had an eye for detail that made every garment she touched turn into a masterpiece. Men from all over the village and neighboring towns came to her boutique, not just for her clothes but in the hope of winning her heart. But Amara had no time for these men. To her, they were beneath her, a collection of unworthy suitors who had nothing to offer her. She wanted wealth, influence, and a man who could take care of all her needs. She dreamed of living in the big cities she often heard about, where men drove cars, lived in mansions, and wore fine suits. So, when one of her suitors, a local farmer, asked for her hand in marriage, she turned him down without a second thought. Then came the village trader, who had built a small business empire. But Amara was unimpressed. She knew what she wanted, and these men were not it. Rumors began to spread in the village about how Amara treated her suitors with disdain, turning them away without even giving them a chance. Still, Amara carried herself with an air of superiority, confident that one day, the man she was waiting for would arrive. One sunny afternoon, as Amara was closing her boutique for the day, word spread through the village like wildfire. Obinna, the son of Mama Obi, had returned from the city. He was not just any man. Obinna was wealthy, handsome, and educated. He had built a fortune through his business ventures in the city, and his presence in the village was rare. Women and men alike whispered about him as he arrived in his flashy car to visit his elderly mother. The moment Amara laid eyes on Obinna as he passed by her shop, her heart skipped a beat. He was everything she had ever dreamed of. His confidence, the way he carried himself, and above all, his wealth were enough to make her decide that she wanted him. No, she needed him. From that day on, Amara's thoughts were consumed by Obinna. She would go out of her way to accidentally cross paths with him, smiling coyly, and even trying to strike up conversations. But despite her efforts, Obinna seemed distant. What Amara didn't know was that Obinna had already heard stories about her. People in the village had told him how she rejected suitors and looked down on men who weren't as wealthy as she hoped. He wasn't interested in a woman who valued material things above everything else. Amara, sensing his disinterest, grew more desperate by the day. She confided in her closest friend, Chika, who warned her that chasing after a man who wasn't interested might not end well. But Amara's pride wouldn't let her listen. She believed that with the right strategy, she could make Obinna fall in love with her. And so, she devised a plan that would change her life forever. Late one evening, after hours of pondering how she could win Obinna's heart, Amara remembered hearing about a native doctor in a nearby village who was said to possess great powers. People claimed that he could make impossible things happen, and his love potions were rumored to be especially effective. Desperate to have Obinna, Amara made the long journey to the native doctor under the cover of night. The old man listened to her request carefully as she explained her situation. He nodded slowly and asked, "Are you sure this is what you want, my child? Love should come naturally." Amara, blinded by her desire for wealth and status, quickly answered, "Yes, I want him to fall in love with me." The native doctor handed her a small vial of liquid, warning her, "This is powerful. Put it in his food, and by the next sunrise, his heart will belong to you." The next day, Amara prepared a lavish meal and, with trembling hands, poured the potion into the soup she had cooked for Obinna. She delivered it to Obinna's house, pretending that she had made the food out of kindness for his elderly mother. Obinna, unaware of her true intentions, thanked her but left the food in the kitchen as he was too busy to eat just then. Now, there was a madman in the village named Udo, who was known for wandering the streets and begging for food. Although his mind was lost, his heart was kind, and the villagers often gave him scraps to eat. For reasons unknown, Udo had taken a liking to Obinna's house and often came there for leftovers. On this fateful day, Obinna, feeling pity for Udo, handed him the untouched meal that Amara had brought. Udo devoured the food hungrily, and the potion took effect almost instantly. From that moment on, the madman became infatuated with Amara, following her wherever she went, proclaiming her to be his wife. At first, Amara was confused and embarrassed by his constant presence. Udo would stand outside her boutique, calling her his beloved in front of her customers. As the days passed, it became clear to everyone in the village that something strange was going on. People began whispering behind Amara's back, wondering why Udo, the madman, had suddenly become obsessed with her. Humiliated and frightened, Amara tried to avoid Udo, but no matter where she went, he was always there, trailing after her like a shadow. When she went to the market, Udo would follow her, singing loudly about how she was his one true love. At night, he would stand outside her house, calling out to her. The once proud and untouchable Amara now found herself the subject of ridicule in the village. As the situation worsened, Obina became curious. He had heard about Udo's strange behavior and how it seemed connected to Amara. One day, he confronted Amara, asking her why the madman was acting this way. In a moment of panic, Amara broke down, confessing everything. How she had gone to the native doctor and used a love potion to try and win Obina's heart. Obina was disgusted by her actions, not just because she had tried to manipulate him but because of the depth of her desperation and pride. He couldn't believe that she had gone to such lengths, and his respect for her diminished entirely. Word of Amara's confession spread through the village, and soon everyone knew the truth. The once proud seamstress, who had rejected countless men and held her head high above the rest, was now the subject of mockery. Udo, still under the potion's influence, continued to follow her, calling her his wife. Amara's reputation was ruined. No longer could she walk through the village without feeling the weight of the villagers' stares or hearing their laughter. The very thing she had wanted, Obina's love and wealth, had slipped through her fingers because of her actions. In time, the effects of the potion began to wear off, and Udo returned to his usual wandering state, no longer infatuated with Amara. But the damage was done. Amara learned the hard way that love and respect cannot be bought or forced. She had lost everything, not just Obina but also the respect of her community and, most importantly, her pride. Though she continued to sew, her once bustling boutique grew quieter as fewer customers came by. And as the years passed, Amara remained unmarried, a reminder to everyone of the dangers of pride and greed. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an exciting new story. Your support means a lot, and I look forward to sharing more captivating tales with you. See you in the next video.